what are the topics we discussed in the last session?
Development of variable arts and
Okay.
development of text to the OBDs. These are the text to the OBDs.
Okay. Okay, we'll discuss about the development of pituitary gland for 20 to 30 minutes. After that, you can do the revisions. Okay. So, tell me about the development of pituitary gland. Okay. Tell me about the development of pituitary gland.
It is started in the 4th week of gestation period.
Okay. It will start developing in the 4th week of the intrauterine life. Next, for this FA, I think you guys might have studied about the pituitary gland, right? Tell me what are all the points you remember in that.
Dual embryological basis. Dual embryological basis.
2. Okay. It has 2 embryological bases. Okay.
In week 4, Reckitt pouch is developed.
Okay. In week 4, we can see the development of Reckitt's pouch. Others? Any answers? Okay, what about the adult structure of the pituitary gland? Can you discuss that at least? How the adult structure of the pituitary gland appears and what are the parts you can see there?
Anterior lobe is developed from oral ectoderm.
No, just adult structure. Forget about the development. Adult structure of the pituitary gland. So, tell me about the adult structure of pituitary gland. What about the significance of pituitary gland? What function it performs? Okay, it releases hormones.
Anterior pituitary and pars distalis, pars tuberculosis, pars tuberculosis.
Okay, those are parts. Okay. Anything else? Okay. The adult structure of the pituitary gland has 2 important parts or division, that is called anterior lobe of the pituitary gland and posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. It is also called as adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis respectively. Anterior part is also called as adenohypophysis, whereas posterior part is also called as neurohypophysis. Between these 2 lobes or parts, we can see a small cleft-like opening that is called as intermediate cleft. This is how the adult structure of the pituitary gland appears. Okay, this is the anterior lobe and this is the posterior lobe. The 2 different lobes of the pituitary gland develops from the 2 different sources. Okay, what are the 2 different sources? What are the 2 different sources for the development? You said 2 embryological bases, right? What are the 2 embryological bases? How many of you attended that question? Development of pituitary gland? Okay, fine. So what are the 2 different sources? Anomalies. Okay. Okay, one is Rathke's pouch. Infundibulum, okay. Any other source? Okay. The pituitary gland develops from 2 different sources and they are called as ectodermal source and neuroectodermal source. Ectodermal source and neuroectodermal source. The ectodermal source give rise to anterior part of the pituitary gland, that is adenohypophysis, whereas the neuroectoderm give rise to posterior part of the pituitary gland, hence the name neurohypophysis. Okay. So what are the derivatives of this ectodermal source? It is Rathke's pouch. But how the formation of Rathke's pouch takes place? How the formation of Rathke's pouch takes place?
It is when in thickening of cell in the oral ectoderm create a hypoglossal plaque
Okay, placode.
which inhibits upward to form outpopulating structure is known as a Rathke's pouch.
Okay, fine. So during the early phase of development, probably in the mid 3rd week or in the late days of the 3rd week, we can see some kind of thickening in the ectodermal lining of the oral cavity. So the ectodermal source for the pituitary gland is ectodermal lining of the oral cavity. Okay, we can see some kind of thickening. These thickenings will later start invaginating in the downward direction. Okay, first it will form a small hypophyseal bud like this, and later the same hypophyseal bud will invaginate more in the downward direction and it will give rise to Rathke's pouch. Remember the points. The ectodermal source is derived from the ectodermal lining of the oral cavity. During the third week of development, this ectodermal lining will become thickening and it will start invaginating in the upward direction and it will form a small bud-like structure that is called as initially hypophyseal bud. Later, the same hypophyseal bud will invaginate more in the upward direction and it will form a pouch-like structure that is called as Rathke's pouch. Is it clear? This is how the formation of Rathke's pouch takes place. Once the pouch formation takes place, it will get separate from the surface ectoderm of the oral cavity. You can see in the third picture, this is the surface ectoderm of the oral cavity and the Rathke's pouch has got separated from that lining. Okay, once the separation takes place, the Rathke's pouch have three important structures now. This part is called as anterior wall of the Rathke's pouch and this is called the median cleft and this is called the posterior wall of the Rathke's pouch. Remember these points for Viva. Okay, they'll ask what are the parts or structures you can identify in the Rathke's pouch. That is anterior wall, median cleft followed by posterior wall. Okay, during the fourth week of the development, the cells in the Rathke's pouch will start undergoing the differentiation process. Once the differentiation process starts, the anterior wall cells will multiply and become larger in size and it will give rise to the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, mainly the pars distalis and pars tuberalis part. Okay. This median cleft, what you are seeing, will later develop into intraglandular cleft. The intraglandular cleft is formed between the two different parts of the anterior lobe itself. And during the differentiation process, the posterior wall will become thin in structure and later it will give rise to pars intermedia, which is present between the anterior and posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Is it clear? So basically the Rathke's pouch will only give rise to anterior part of the pituitary gland or to the adenohypophysis part. Don't think that this median cleft will form a cleft between anterior and posterior parts of the pituitary gland. Is it clear? Any doubts? So during the fourth week, we can see cell differentiation in the Rathke's pouch. The anterior wall will multiply and become larger in size and give rise to pars distalis and pars tuberalis, whereas the median cleft will form a intraglandular cleft. The posterior wall will become thin in structure and it will give rise to pars intermedia. These are the structures we can see developed from the Rathke's pouch. Any doubts? Any doubts in this? Okay. Next we have neuroectoderm, that is the second source or second embryological basis for the development of pituitary gland. So what is the source? What are the derivatives? Embryological basis or source is the neuroectoderm. So from which ectodermal lining the cells are getting differentiated? This one, this upper, in the upper part you can see a small bud. Later this bud also giving rise to a small pouch-like structure. Then this pouch will start evaginating in the downward direction and it later fuses with the Rathke's pouch to give rise to the posterior part of the pituitary gland. So what is the derivation here? Lining of stomodium. Okay. Any other answers? Infundibulum will? Say it louder.
Infundibulum will stop in posterior lobe will be derived from diaphragm.
Diencephalon, okay, fine. So the infundibulum is derived from the linings of the diencephalon, right? Okay. What about this lobe-like structure? This is the infundibulum part. What about this lobe-like structure? Okay, for the neuroectoderm source, it is derived from the neuroectodermal or ectodermal lining of the third ventricle as well as hypothalamus. Okay, remember these points. For the neuroectodermal source, it is derived from the ectodermal lining of the third ventricle as well as hypothalamus. So this bud what you are seeing is derived from your third ventricle cells and also from the hypothalamus cells. First it will form a small bud-like structure that is called as neurohypophyseal bud. Here it was called as hypophyseal bud. Okay. Next, the neurohypophyseal bud will start evaginating in the downward direction right next to your Rathke's pouch. As the development continues, by the end of the 4th week, it will form a pouch-like structure and get fuses with the Rathke's pouch to give rise to the posterior part of the pituitary gland or neurohypophysis. Is it clear? Any doubts? Is it different from what you guys have studied? No? Other girl? Is that what you have studied or any other points you want to add? So, is it clear? So, your pituitary gland have total 2 parts, and anterior part derived from the ectodermal lining of the oral cavity, whereas the posterior part is derived from the neuroectodermal lining of the third ventricle and hypothalamus. In both the cases, we can see the formation of pouch-like structure. From the oral cavity, the pouch develop in the upward direction, but from the third ventricle derivatives, the pouch develop in the downward direction. Later, these two pouches fuse together to form the anterior and posterior lobes of the pituitary gland. And Rathke's pouch will separately have 3 different parts: anterior wall, median cleft and posterior wall. You should remember these points. This is all about the development of the pituitary gland. Any doubts? Any doubts in this? No doubts? Sure? Okay, so what about the development weeks, what you will written? It will start developing in the 5th week, 3rd to 15th week, okay? Any other answers? The early development starts in the mid of the 3rd week, and the fusion of the anterior and posterior parts will take place by the end of the 15th week or in the early of the 16th week. Okay, these are the answers. Is it clear? Any doubts? Okay, what about the clinical part? Congenital anomalies of the pituitary gland. Okay, absence of pituitary gland, it is called agenesis of the pituitary gland. So during the 3rd week of the development, if there is no formation of hypophyseal bud and neurohypophyseal bud, it will lead to the absence of the pituitary gland in the baby or in the adult. Okay, that condition is called agenesis of the pituitary gland. Next, pharyngeal hypophysis. So what do you mean by pharyngeal hypophysis? Okay, what is pharyngeal hypophysis? Okay, so if you see the diagram, I told the anterior part is derived from the ectodermal lining of the oral cavity. So in the early stage of development, the anterior part of the pituitary gland is basically present in the oral cavity region. As the development continues, it will move to your cranial cavity region. Okay, if this fails to happen even after the development, the anterior lobe or adenohypophysis part of the pituitary gland remain in the oral cavity region, it will lead to a condition called pharyngeal hypophysis. Cleft in the okay.
And ectopic tumors.
Ectopic pituitary gland. What about the cleft in the Rathke's pouch? What happens? There is cleft in the Rathke's pouch, okay. The cleft should remain as it is, so later it will form the intraglandular cleft. So, what is the anomaly there? Craniopharyngioma, okay. What do you mean by craniopharyngioma?
Certain tumor arises in the ectopic
Anything else? Others, what is craniopharyngioma? Formation of tumor in the adenohypophysis part of the pituitary gland is called as craniopharyngioma. Okay. So remember these three important congenital anomalies. The first one is agenesis, second one is pharyngeal hypophysis, and the third one is craniopharyngioma. These are the three conditions. Any other conditions you guys want to discuss? Anything else mentioned in the textbook? Okay, for 5 minutes just open your textbook and see the textbook diagram for the development of pituitary gland, and once check the clinical conditions also, okay? Take 5 minutes and do it fast.